This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast
with Tony Bruschi.
So what is in store for Alec Murdaugh now that the circus is over? Is there going to be more trials involving Alec Murdaugh? And if you're wondering the answer to that, it's probably, hard to know for sure. But when a man lies and lies and lies and lies, they tend to not want to admit those lies or cover them up. I mean, he's even admitted to lying about some of these other things, but my guess would be that, if he can get away with things a little bit longer, he will. Not that he's really getting away with anything. It's just, you did this. I did not do that. Yes, you did. You did. Okay, you lie. I do lie. Yep. He was, of course, sentenced to life in prison after being convicted in the 4 counts of the double murder of his wife and son. But here's what else is on the docket for Alec Murdaugh. He's been indicted on 99 other charges in 6 different counties for allegedly defrauding victims of $8.8 million in the state of about $490,000. Charges include 32 counts of embezzlement, 21 counts of computer crime, 14 counts of money laundering, 11 counts of obtaining signature or property by false pretenses, 9 counts of tax evasion, 7 counts of conspiracy, 3 counts of false statement or misrepresentation, and 2 counts of forgery. At what point do we just say, okay, you did all this, you've pretty much admitted to it in court, you obviously don't have the means to pay any of it back, so we've seized everything that you have? Do they actually do a trial for these things now? We know that he did it. It's a matter of, do we want to now spend more time so on the books and on paper it says, yes, you did this? Is that worth it? I don't know that it truly is, unless we just want to waste a lot of money. But I don't know. At this point, it's poking the rabid lying monkey with a stick is really what it's going to come down to. Of course, he's admitted to stealing from clients and his firm during his testimony in his murder trial. So that doesn't really work very well for any sort of defense of these charges if he is to plead not guilty, which he's not pled yet. So, he is a bit of a narcissist, and narcissists like attention. And if it means he gets to go back on the stand for something or gets to go back into court or whatever, he already thought that he was going to beat these charges by going on the stand and not blowing his nose for 2 hours, just letting the snot drip down his face. And people go, those are tears. No, it's a lot of bad allergy day, really, and not blowing your nose. But who knows? Who knows what exactly his next plans are going to be. He's also charged with conspiracy, false claim for payment, and filing a false police report and an alleged botched suicide plot. So there's charges there for that as well. Prosecution, of course, presented evidence about Murdaugh's extensive financial wrongdoing as the motive, although you really don't need to present a motive in a trial. You don't. Juries want the motive. It helps make sense of the situation so you can go, yeah, beyond a reasonable doubt, this person did it, and here is why. And whether or not that was exactly why, I don't think any of us will ever really know. But I think it certainly played a part. Judge Clifton Newman, of course, saying at the very end, so intimately connected with the state's theory that proof of it is essential to complete the story. So that's why it was all in court. Of course, defense going to be arguing that with some sort of appeal. They argue that the fraud accusations were not relevant to the killings and were unfair to Murdaugh. Prior to deliberations, Judge Newman instructed the jury to only consider the evidence of financial crimes as it fit the motive, but not as to how it reflected on Murdaugh. People are people. They have the information. They're going to interpret it however they so choose. And I think it was correct that they put all this out there into the ether. People needed to know this. It's context onto the human being who lies about literally everything. But according to him, not killing his family. That's the one thing he hasn't lied about. But everything else, yeah, doesn't seem to add up. Defense attorneys were skeptical that the jury followed the instruction and believed that the evidence of financial wrongdoing impacted the seriousness of the jury's decision. Prosecutor Creighton Waters is confident that Judge Newman's ruling will be upheld. The attorneys for Murdaugh saying within 10 days here they're going to be filing for an appeal. We'll see. We'll see. Crazier things have happened. Of course, there's another murder that needs to be looked at, or death that needs to be looked at. But the question on this other one with the Murdaugh family is, was Alec directly connected to it? Or was people that he killed connected to it? I'm talking about Gloria Satterfield, the longtime housekeeper of the Murdaugh family, who died in 2018 in a mysterious trip and fall accident, allegedly falling over the dog, going down the stairs, hitting her head, and succumbing to those injuries. You know who was president of the house when that happened? Maggie and Paul. So what is there? Was this just an accident on a family that already is surrounded by such negative tornadoes of energy? I think about that sometimes. Could all of these things, are all of these things truly connected with some sort of malicious and vicious intent? Was she murdered? Did somebody push her down those stairs? Or is it sometime when you're just in such a horrible negative environment, negative begets negative, and bad things happen, even when you're not sitting there pulling the trigger like Alec did? Just being in that circle of this self-entitled grandeur on the backs of everyone that you've ripped off and stolen from and ruined lives of. Could just negative things happen when you're in that sort of environment? I believe they can. And I know we're kind of going a little more hocus pocus here, but it's kind of karma. It's something, energy of the world, more positive environments, positive places. Yeah, bad things can happen, but the sheer amount of bad things that go on around these people is just staggering. Of course, Murdaugh was initially arrested in October of 21 on a warrant for allegedly misappropriating funds for the Satterfield family, and agreed to a $4.3 million settlement with her family in December of that year. How much will they ultimately get in the end? Well, we'll have to see how much ends up coming out of the estate, Maggie's estate, and whatever could be left of Mr. Murdaugh. But as I've said before, this thing is far from being over.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Bruski.
It just is. Now, is he going to be tried for murder again? I don't know. Maybe. Anything's possible. People like this also don't tend to self-destruct themselves to death. Suicide probably not going to happen. But he tried it once. Did he? Did he really try it once? I don't know about that. Press subscribe so you don't miss any breaking updates on all the stories that we are following for you right here. You can find a complete list of all of the stories we're covering in the episode description. My name is Tony Bruski. Stay with us.